Hey, welcome back to Real Housewives Recaps. Normally, I am covering all things Bravo, but today I'm covering my favorite non-Bravo show, Fleabag. And we're going to be talking about Season 1, Episode 2. So this episode starts out with one of the more memorable intros of any of the episodes of the series. Sail by AWOL Nation starts up, and everybody on the tube starts screaming. They're either in pain or laughing. I think they look like they're in pain, personally. A stunned Fleabag can only just look around. They have all the actors reacting at the same time on the beat. Fleabag says, "I think my period is coming." So Fleabag starts out at Claire's house. Claire answers the door surprised and says, "Are you all right? What's happened? Are you hurt?" So that speaks to their relationship. So Fleabag says she's there to see Martin, Claire's husband. I'm not going to get into spoilers here in case you haven't watched it, but just know some big stuff happens with him later on that will probably give you the same reaction that I have right now to him. Martin has a pretty funny scene when Fleabag and Claire walk in. He says, "My wife and my sister in my study." Fleabag responds, "Gangbangs, Asian." I put a tenner on it. Fleabag asks Claire to leave, and Claire's confused, so Fleabag tells her that Martin is throwing a surprise birthday party for her, which puts Martin on the spot, which I absolutely love. If you remember at the end of the last episode, Fleabag grabbed that statue off her godmother's shelf. So Fleabag puts the statue on his desk. He asks where she got it, and she said she stole it from a market. So he agrees to help her sell it. They agree that he'll get 10%. Fleabag asks him not to tell Claire, and he says, "Or what?" She says, "I will tell her you watch Asian gangbangs." He gets very serious and says, "Please don't do that again." I wasn't, by the way. So Martin leaves, and Fleabag sneaks over to his laptop and finds him looking at a picture of a necklace for Claire. And obviously this does not make Fleabag very happy. Claire asks about Harry as Fleabag's leaving, and Fleabag explains that he's back at her flat packing up. Fleabag arrives back at her flat and says, "I admire how much Harry commits to our breakups." There's an empty room, an empty fridge, and they show that he cleans so much that she actually picked fights with him to get him to clean. And it's also revealed that he likes to leave a dinosaur behind to have a reason to come back. So the next scene, they show her in the bathroom. She's talking about how important sex is to her. She says that she has about 48 hours until Harry comes back and that she should get on it. This episode is so good. So next part, she is saying, "I look amazing." She really put a lot of effort in. She's feeling herself. She's walking down the street. She fixed her hair. She put on some beautiful lipstick. And this guy is coming toward her, checking her out. And she's saying things like, "Never gonna happen. Look all you want." And the douchebag walks by her, coughs, and says, "Walk of shame." It kind of deflates her a little bit. We get our first flashback to Boo. Then we see Fleabag in the cafe. There's just a random guy hanging out in there, and she's trying to get his attention to kick off her time before Harry gets back, and he's just not paying attention to her at all. So he comes up to make a purchase with her. He buys a cheese sandwich, which she tells him is £12.55. While they're talking, he notices a picture of Boo and says, "Where do I recognize her? Is she famous?" So then Fleabag has to explain that because her story made the news, that people think they recognize her. And there's flashbacks to Boo. It really speaks to the talent of Phoebe Waller-Bridge, how she can take such an intense topic like losing her best friend and the trauma that surrounds that, and then suddenly go right into a comedic scene. So next is still one of the funniest parts of the episode to me. She says, "The next man who walks in is getting ridden to death." And then you see her face here, and she says, "Dad," and looks to the camera and says, "Not ideal." So we see her dad trying to have a conversation with her. At first it seems like he's just paying her a visit, but we quickly realize the relationship is very odd. He doesn't know how to talk to her. He never completes a sentence. He says, "I want to talk to you about you dropped in the other night," and then he just cuts to it and says, "Did you take the sculpture?" She says, "No, what sculpture?" And he looks relieved because he doesn't actually have to have a conversation with her. He says, "You said no, so that means I can go." So at the same time, two women walk in the cafe. They just left some sort of maybe yoga class or something. They ask Fleabag if she has any hot organic-y foods. She says, "Of course, what would you like?" They ask for risotto. They show Fleabag running next door to some sort of little market, grabbing a heat-up risotto, as well as tampons. And she runs into arsehole guy. So they kind of make a date to see each other later. So back at the cafe, Fleabag's heating up the risotto. The girls are talking nonsense about themselves. Just really shallow conversation. And all of a sudden they freak out because the guinea pig gets loose. Hillary. So then we get a flashback of how the guinea pig came to be. Fleabag gave Boo a present for her birthday, and it ended up being Hillary. Boo took Hillary very seriously as a gift, so soon everything became guinea pig themed. And then again, we cut away from the serious and cut to Fleabag and arsehole guy taking a bath together. He asks questions like, "What scares you? Do you ever feel lonely?" So they end up having sex. And he keeps telling her how much he loves her tiny boobs. So she starts thinking about Harry and says she's having a Harry panic. So the next scene, they show them meeting in a restaurant. And Harry reveals that he was at Cat's with a friend, and Fleabag gives back the dinosaur. So Fleabag starts making sexy eyes at him, and Harry says he's not going to come running back, that he needs time. Of course, then they flash to the two of them having sex. He tries to touch her, but she doesn't want him to. She even flinches at his kiss, like she's pushing him away. So the next scene, Harry says, "I think you should stop masturbating. I've hidden our vibrators. We should try not to touch ourselves." This does not make Fleabag very happy. He tells her that he wants them to surprise each other every day. Then we flash to the cafe. Claire pops by and orders just a tomato sandwich. She reveals to Fleabag that she's gone ahead and planned and organized her entire surprise birthday party. It's this Friday at her house. She picks up some delinquent bills of Fleabag and offers to give her money. Fleabag rejects it, but then overcharges her for her sandwich. So Claire refers to Hillary and says she's surprised that the guinea pig is still alive. You can tell Fleabag is a little sad by this. So Fleabag goes home and realizes that Harry has a romantic surprise for her. She forgot all about it. She freaks out and tries to think what to do. She thinks it'd be funny. She wears a black mask and grabs a big kitchen knife and sneaks up on him in the shower. So of course you can imagine he freaks out and screams and cries, and she has to hold him, and she tries to explain it was a ninja surprise. Harry is absolutely traumatized and crying in the shower. She offers to get wine, so they cut to her running out of a store, having stolen a bottle, and the owner chasing after her. She comes back home and Harry is upset. So he had to go on his computer search history to find something. And Fleabag's search history is revealed. Anal gangbang, all kinds of searches she had been looking on his computer. Sounds like probably that day. She tries to make a joke about it. Harry doesn't find it funny at all. She encourages Harry to write down what he's saying for a song, again cutting the tension. So then he says to her, "I will always love you, but I can't do it anymore. I'm gonna pack. I'm not gonna clean this time. Goodbye forever." She very smugly looks at the camera and at the dinosaur and says, "He will be back." He walks back in, he grabs the dinosaur, and she's shocked. And her facial expression is flawless because you see her flashing from a sad realization to putting on a brave face and convincing herself she's happy. And then the closing Fleabag pops up and the loud music starts. I love this episode from start to finish. It was wonderful. She's such a good actress and writer, and I'm just such a huge fan. I thought Harry does a great job, well cast. They also did a great job showing a little bit more about Boo and Fleabag's relationship, as well as relationship of Fleabag to her family. So I loved it, and I really hope you did too. So check out my other episodes where I cover Fleabag, but also mostly I cover Bravo shows like Real Housewives and Below Deck and all kinds of things. So let me know your thoughts, and I hope you have a great day. Bye-bye.